Hi guys, and welcome to D6 Evolution. I'm Wes,
I'm Andy.
and today we just thought we'd do a bit of a Corona special show, really, just to have a chat about it and things that you can do during this time to improve your gaming, really, and still stay fit, really. So really, Andy, I want to start off with you actually, because you're in quite a unique position. I don't think many people know that actually, despite your looks, you're actually an A&E doctor. And what are your views on it right now?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a couple of months of being a consultant now, and coronavirus. At first, I didn't. Yeah, at first I thought the coronavirus, a few weeks ago, it wasn't going to be a huge thing, but actually, as the weeks have gone on, particularly this week, we've seen my emergency department just completely inundated with coronavirus cases, and there's been some seriously unwell people that I've had to put on ventilators. So what I'm saying is treat this very seriously, because there's a certain group of the population who are going to be very, very unwell with this, and it's not just the elderly patients. We've got some junior doctors who have become really unwell with us as well in the country, and I think a lot of people in the UK are starting to clue up to it now and take this seriously. But there's also a group of the population who are still just flouting the rules, aren't there?
Yeah, it's quite frustrating to watch as well because social distancing works, and it's not about stopping people getting it completely, but it's slowing down the rate at which people get it. I think is the main thing really, so the health system doesn't get swamped. So it's just social distancing. People, like, if you don't have to see people, just don't do it for a while.
Yeah, and I think that brings us on to gaming as well, because actually, with everyone being off work, it's tempting to meet up for games of 40k, isn't it?
Oh mate, yeah, it's exactly. So you don't have to go to work. What do you want to do? I want a game, and you just have to resist that right now. And I think there are other things that you can do that aren't necessarily gaming wise that will fill that hobby void right now for you.
Yeah, and I think that's what that episode's about. Because even if you're not the one who's going to get super sick from this, and believe me, I've seen a lot of people with coronavirus now, and you do not want to get this because it is horrible. It's when you bring it back, you give it to your parents, or you give it to your kids who then go and see someone else. So you definitely don't want to be trying to spread this virus.
Yeah, and personally, I've made a difficult decision recently I've got a daughter with my ex-wife, and I'm not seeing her for the time being, just because I think it's socially irresponsible to be moving from place to place unnecessarily right now. That's just some of the big decisions that people have to make right now, I think.
Yeah, it's likewise. My mum looks after my little boy, and I've told her not to come back till this is over because she's older. She's at higher risk of getting problems. It means I just have to end up working all the weekends instead of during the week instead.
Yeah. So I think the message from us is just be socially responsible. And there's is the need and desire to want to game, but I think there are other things that we're going to talk about now that you can do in the meantime to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself well, and keep people around you well as well, while getting your gaming fix in.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I want to talk about, should we talk about Tabletop Sim?
Yeah, let's talk about that actually.
Because I've been using this since the lockdowns have started in the UK. I had a great game against Lewis the other week. Anyone who's not played Tabletop Sim, it takes a little bit of time to set up, but it's essentially a computerized version of 40k. You can download it off Steam. I think we can drop a link. There's the Almost Pro Gamer does a really good video on how you set up Tabletop Sim, how you set up the actual 40k part of it as well.
Yeah, I followed that actually. I've not actually played myself yet, but I've got it set up ready to go. So
Yeah, Wes has been promising me for about 5 months he's going to download this.
I've been a busy man, mate. It's been a busy time in my life. I'll do it. I'm done. I'm ready to go now.
Um, yeah, it's going to happen almost after Wes edits the Harlequins video, which we shot with Alex Harrison, 8 months ago now?
Oh, the sound was so off for me. I've almost got it. It's almost there.
It's almost there. It's on your to-do list. So anyway, getting back to Tabletop Sim, I find it's really good. It takes a little bit of time to sort out, but as long as you're not trying to play, you've got to relax the rules of 40k a bit. Like, measurements aren't as precise because it all depends on what view you're measuring things from. Every so often you manage to knock everything over on the table, but as long as you and your opponent are okay with that, it's actually really good for trying out new armies, because you don't have to build anything, you don't have to paint anything. You can just try out crazy army concepts, and you just play out the first turn or two and just see how it all goes.
But you don't measure that accurately anyway. I've seen you play.
Yeah.
Just kidding. He's really quite anally retentive about his measurements. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good resource. It
Yeah.
takes about as long as a normal game to play
Okay.
because the dice rolling and things like that's a pain in the ass.
I'm looking forward to giving it a go at least, and seeing how it works out. Really, I've got some Harlequin concepts that I really want to try it right now.
Yeah, I tell you what worked really well was using a dice app along with Tabletop Sim.
Oh, right. So you just
As long as your opponent actually believes what you're rolling on your dice app.
yeah, yeah. Roll what you need. Tell them what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay, got you. Yeah, good. Yes, that's one thing that you can use. What are the things you're looking forward to at the moment as well?
Ooh, in terms of 40k,
Yeah.
I'd say I'd paint something, but that would be a lie.
Yeah. So I was thinking more pretty news at the moment is that Games Workshop's pretty much shut down in the UK right now for the coronavirus. But
They've stopped making miniatures, haven't they?
yeah, they'll catch that back up. But I think the main thing really to note with them is they've still got an online presence at the moment. So they're doing a hangout chats, and the big thing actually in the next couple of weeks is the previews they've got coming up.
Yes.
Apparently,
do you think they're still going to be doing them?
Yeah, they've announced they're going to be doing them. So I think it's the last weekend of March, and then one after that, I think, and then there's a further one then again in April at some point.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I guess the things they've got to announce, they've still got was it the War of the Machine?
Yeah, the last few Psychic Awakening books, I guess.
Yeah, you got War of the Machine, War of the Spider, and then maybe Death Watch, and then I guess it's 9th edition, isn't it?
Oh, maybe. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
I think with all the tournaments being cancelled, are we actually going to get to play a tournament game before 9th?
I don't think so right now, actually, which is kind of lucky for you because that means that you went out on a high, didn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely. I went to a tournament about 2 weeks ago now, just before the ban went in, and yeah, I won that with Raven Guard. It turns out Space Marines are still broken. But it's crazy because I didn't use them. I didn't really use them at all pre-nerf, and yeah, they're so unbelievably powerful.
I think especially Raven Guard, they're very efficient all round.
They're such a fun army to play.
Yeah, I was playing them early days with the Space Marines, and I really enjoyed them. They're almost like playing Eldar with Space Marines in terms of like the tricksiness that you can do with them, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. All that pre-game moving, and advancing, and redeploying is just amazing.
Yeah, it's great fun, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, getting back on topic. Yeah, I think with all the tournaments being cancelled here, and I imagine, are they all cancelled in the US yet, or is it?
I don't know. I think since like Adepticon and all that have just cancelled, haven't they? So I think other ones will follow suit. So I think it's time for tournament organisers to just be socially responsible right now, and I would call it.
Yeah. I mean, I think as tournament organisers, like you say, you've got to step up and set an example in the community. And I think there's a few people here who are a little bit late to shut down their tournaments, weren't they, in the UK? And I think it's just about actually just step up. Nearly all of the community here in the UK did the right thing, but there's a few who are just lingering on, weren't there?
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a keep calm and carry on type thing, and still want to socialise with mates. And I don't think it really hit home until like the past few days about how serious this really is.
Yeah, and when you look at other countries like Spain and Italy now, you're just like, okay, this is going to happen in the UK.
Yeah, it's almost like an invisible tsunami approaching at the moment, isn't it? We just gotta ride this one out. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. If the government are building emergency hospitals and getting car makers to make ventilators,
yeah,
you know they think it's serious, and
yeah.
I can see from work it's going to get very serious.
Yeah, so I think the key message here is, guys, take it seriously, get yourself locked away, and let's talk about some ways in which you can get some hobby on while you're being locked away in social distancing right now. So
Tabletop Sim, definitely a go-to on this. And he said, we could even paint our models. It could be that 2021 is the year when we put everyone else to shame because we've got the most beautifully painted tournament armies.
Absolutely. Even you, Andy, could have a new painted
Even
army.
me, I'm gonna do little highlights and stuff. It's gonna be crazy.
Should we talk about some things that we think we could possibly do during this time?
Yeah, go for it,
So,
Wes.
well, I think first off, just make a project list. Get yourself a list of all the things that you'd like to do over the next few weeks, months, to really get going. So, those really shitty projects that you've been putting off, like rebasing or those edge highlights that you needed to put on, those sort of things. Something I've done recently is I've reorganised my hobby space, got all my models set out the way I want them, give them a bit of a dust off. I've organised my paints. Yeah, I'm quite OCD about my paints. I've actually repotted them as well and got them in order. You don't realise you've got a problem.
When Wes isn't looking when I'm round at his house, I actually just move his paints around every so often. It's a little joke to myself.
Oh. So
He's actually looking to see which ones are moved at the moment. So
you say that. When I was in Afghanistan, one of my bosses had proper OCD, so I used to go into his bed space and he'd have all his socks like smiley way up and all his things. Like I would just move them ever so slightly, just and you could see him coming back in and changing them all back again. But just little things like that keep me entertained. So yeah, that's some things I think you can do. Other things like making cheat sheets. We did a video about that probably about a year ago actually, where you can create sheets for speeding up the gameplay. Something else I've been doing as well with a load of my buddies is we've been having like a nightly hobby hangout. So we got on Facebook Messenger.
whoa, I was not invited to this.
I said buddies, mate.
Go.
So we get on Facebook Messenger, and if you get group chat going on, there's a little video thing, and you can just set a little hobby thing up, and we just sit there painting, which has been quite good. So I guess that's keeping it social, really, isn't it? And goes back to our original thing about keeping that hobby going, really, and get some painting.
Yeah, because I think there's so much about 40k which is socializing, isn't it? The whole gaming aspect is being social, so it's just trying to, if you can't actually game anymore, it's just keeping that social side of things going.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. This hobby actually is that I love the hobby, but it's the social aspect of the hobby that I love the most, and the people involved in it. So just keeping that going for me is quite important.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Andy, if you decide to paint something, I'll do a hobby hangout with you on Facebook video chat. How about that?
We'll give it a few weeks and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the other things you could do list design, couldn't you, and just keep bouncing lists off each other.
Yeah, that's something you do as well. You can do something we do all the time anyway, isn't it? But just keep that going. You can have a little list chat group, I guess. Making terrain as well. That's pretty a good one to.
Oh, that's my worst. Don't say that. Being stuck at home and having to make terrain. God, painting terrains is even worse than that.
Yeah, but some people enjoy it, and give it a
go. No
go.
one enjoys it.
Mate, I tell you what, I bought the.
You don't even enjoy it, Wes, and you paint everything.
No, mate, I bought the Necromunda box set recently, and the terrain there is amazing. It's been so good to paint and build, and it's kind of like a combination of Lego, 40k, and a hobby project in one. So it's like, this is great. I'll get you onto it one day.
Yeah.
And do you know, if you don't have like a local group and stuff to chat with regularly, Warhammer TV are doing nightly hangouts. So pop onto there and get your social fix on there if you want. There's good guys on there. They're very entertaining, and it's just good to hobby and do things at the same time as other people, I guess. You got any other thoughts on stuff that you can be doing?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you've always been a bit more of a hobbyist than me. I mean, it's. I'm not going to get the same amount of downtime as most people, so I probably won't get around to painting that much. But I think if I was at home all the time, I certainly would probably start hobbying again.
Yeah.
Is the reality of things.
Yeah, you're going to be working hard. So I think really something to talk about as well, just people's mental health during this time as well, because I think as hobbyists, we're generally quite social people, even though a lot of us are introverts. So I think having people to talk to, and just admitting that sometimes that you're not necessarily feeling okay about things, and that's okay to not feel okay.
Yeah, I think it's a very anxious time for everyone, and it's important to acknowledge that, isn't it? I know someone said to me the other day, just give yourself half an hour to have a good worry in the day, and apart from that, just try and try and shut it down. It's probably a good way of doing it. Um, yeah, I think that's a fairly good approach.
Yeah, and breaking some of those unhealthy habits really, because I've spent a lot of time just glued to the news, refreshing and on chats
Oh,
with different people and stuff, and I find
I've
myself
been
getting
there.
to a real rut, and I just had to break that. And you go, no, I can look at it for a bit, certain times of the day, but then that's it.
I mean, yeah, my wife Alice told me off for looking at the death rate in different countries and comparing it to the UK. I think,
Yeah,
have you been there?
yeah, I've been there, been looking in
Yeah.
different areas and
But
stuff of the country.
it's just so not helpful for your mental well-being.
No, it's not at all.
I mean, I think it's important to keep abreast of the news, see what's happening, see what the new social distancing measures are, and so forth. Um, Anyone who's not in the UK at the moment, we can only leave the house for doing essential shopping and going to work if you absolutely cannot work from home.
Yeah,
And all shops should be shut now, which aren't essential.
yeah,
So that's where we're at with things at the moment. It's probably going to get stricter, I suspect,
yeah,
becoming a bit more in line with like Spain and Italy and places like that. So yeah,
yeah. So I think during this time as well, like from my time being in the military, I did 6 deployments overseas, and a thing I found is actually just setting a daily routine is really important for your mental well-being. Especially if you're feeling quite isolated as well. Like some people will just be on their own during this time as well. But I think having some sort of daily routine, making sure you get up, you wash, you make your bed, maybe do half an hour or an hour of chores in the morning just to keep on top of your household stuff so you're feeling well. Make sure you eat properly. And getting a little bit of exercise in as well is probably quite important during this time. I know there are ways you can do the exercise in the house as well, whether it's climbing stairs. I think like lots of people doing Joe Wicks in the morning as well. Personally, I'm a bit more of a fan of Oz aerobics, but I don't find myself actually getting involved too much apart from watching. Yeah, I think it's all those sort of things that you can do as well to just to make sure that you are looking after yourself mentally and physically during this time as well.
yeah, I find exercise a massive thing in terms of being able to de-stress. At the moment, we're still allowed to go out for a run, so that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, and I think eating well is important as well. Like I find it really easy to overeat, especially when I'm feeling quite down. That's why I've got a bit of chubs at the moment. But I think during this time, it's really important you eat well and not eat too much. I think there's a balance there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's some quite serious stuff for D6 Evolution. We're not used to being quite that heavy, but there's some ideas that we've had about looking after yourself. Have you got any other thoughts there, Andy?
If I'm honest, no.
Good. That's fair enough. And John, it's going to be hard times. We've got to ride this out, but it's a great gaming community, and we can all chip in and look after each other.
Yes.
Keep online, keep the social contact going with people where you can, and just keep yourself healthy, really.
Yeah, and that gaming community is still going to be alive when we get to the other side of this, isn't it? It's going to be good, and it's just keeping those contacts going, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be booming by the time we get out the other side, and we've all got great hobby stuff to look forward to, and I'm looking forward to those previews in a few weeks' time as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go into withdrawal from tournaments though.
Oh, mate, you'll get it. You'll get it on the other side.
Do you think the ITC is still going to be doing their tournament circuit this year?
I think there's probably the will to. Whether they should or not, I don't know. I don't think necessarily because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think in this case, I think maybe just pausing it for this year is probably a sensible thing to do.
Yeah, those guys who got the early wins, and that technically means they'll probably win the ITC with like 2 tournament wins.
Did you get some ITC points that tournament you won?
No, he's not bloody submitted them.
What? Yeah, you might have got a higher ranking there.
I've only won 1 tournament this year, so I'm still at like 200th in the UK because I've not actually submitted any scores.
Have you not?
No, I think I've got like a 12th place, no, 7th or 8th place at Glasshammer or whatever it was. I can't remember now, but that's it.
You just need to get better at 40k, mate. There's a really
I
good.
do.
There's a good YouTube channel where you can get some like top
Oh,
tips about movements and tactics and stuff. And I think D6 Evolution or something it's called. So you should get on there.
Yeah.
And I think on that note, guys, stay well, stay healthy, and keep hobbying in the meantime.
Yeah, and guys, if you've got anything that you think is cool for 40k, if you found some other cool websites instead of Tabletop Sim, comment below. Let us know what other things we can be doing. I think there's something called Vassal, isn't there?
Oh,
Or
Vassal,
something.
yeah, Vassal, I think, yeah.
Obviously, I've never played it because I didn't even know how to pronounce it. But if that's good, let us know,
Yeah,
and we'll drop that link for the Almost Pro Gamers video on how to set up Tabletop Sim.
great. Stay well, guys, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.